and welcome to Macroeconomics. Today we're going to talk about quantity supplied and quantity demanded. This is a subject that is difficult for a lot of students to understand because most people think price changes will affect supply and demand, when in fact it's actually affecting quantity supplied and quantity demanded, how much of it a supplier is willing to produce and how much of it a consumer is willing to consume. Let's look first at the definitions of demand, and then we'll look at supply. So demand just states quantities of goods and services that consumers are willing and able to buy at different prices. So the law of demand states that at higher prices, let me get my pen here, at higher prices, we'll say at $10, there's an inverse relationship between quantity demanded over here on our x-axis and the price. So as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. And as price goes down, we'll say $1, quantity demanded goes up. Put 50 over here, and we'll put 10 over on our x-axis, which is our quantity demanded. And all we're stating is kind of the obvious. If something is cheap or not expensive, you'll purchase a lot of quantities of it. If something's expensive, society won't produce or consume that much of it. I always tell students to think about water. We demand water always. We always demand water. If it's really expensive, if it were $10 an ounce, you would know exactly how many ounces of water you needed a day. If it was a penny an ounce, you wouldn't think much of it. You'd buy a ton of it. You still demand it the same. Just because the price decreases for water doesn't mean you demand it anymore. You just will buy more of it. That's not an increase in demand. So you do not increase demand by decreasing the price. You just increase the amount of it you would buy. If you look at supply, it's the same thing. So supply is just quantities of a good that producers are willing and able to sell at different prices. And the law of supply is a direct relationship between price over here on our y-axis and quantity supplied on our x-axis. So think about it. If you're a supplier and something is $5 and something is $1, are you going to want to sell more of it at $1? Or are you going to want to sell at $5? Right? And you're going to want to sell at a higher price. Why? Because you're hoping to make more money on this. And so at higher prices, it is a direct relationship or positive relationship. The higher the price, the more quantity supplied of it. The lower the price, the fewer quantities supplied of it. And if you think about this, this makes our supply curve, right? At $1, only 10 are supplied, and at $5, we'll say 50 are supplied. And this creates our supply. So increasing the price doesn't cause an increase in supply or a decrease in supply. It's just how much a producer would want to sell of it. We'll look at supply and demand together because suppliers always want a higher price, consumers want a low price, and somewhere in between will become our equilibrium price. And we'll talk about that in the next video.